Look, it's Todd! And this is what I believe Todd Howard sounds like. You're all great people. You're all brilliant people. And because you're all such great fans, I'm here to give you a nice little surprise. Who would like to see the next villain in the next Fallout game? For all of you who don't know, this is the Enclave. This is by far the greatest villain ever conceived by my brain. They're unique, they're strong, and they've never overstayed their welcome. Screw you, we want something new! Something new? You want something. You don't know what you want!
Yeah! Yeah!
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the Brickmaker's channel, and I am here very excited to welcome you to my Enclave run for Fallout 4. Now with the recent Enclave update, I thought it was about time to do a run as an Enclave soldier for this game. But as you know, there's also a fantastic mod, America Rising 2 Legacy of the Enclave. So without saying much more, let's ask the question, can you beat Fallout 4 as an Enclave soldier? We'll first start off with our character, and we are going to be continuing the legacy of Major Bottom, the very distant cousin of Colonel Autumn. I go for a pretty high intelligence character, as I'll be using a lot of laser weapons and plasma weapons throughout the game, and watch as nuclear annihilation comes from my family. Now for anyone who hasn't played America Rising 2 Legacy of the Enclave, this is one of the best mods I've ever played. This is a fully fledged game, pretty much. You can beat the Fallout 4 main story in about 8 to 9 hours. This took me over 16. And I wasn't diverging too much from what needed to be done. I was pretty much focusing just on that. And speaking of that mod, the second that I leave Vault 111, I can head straight over to a secret compartment of Vault 111. This is a completely new made area, the Vault 111 government facility. The radio beacon lets us know that there's someone down here that needs help, and is currently being attacked by some raiders. Now although an Enclave soldier would usually be limited to maybe plasma or laser weapons, for this mod I decided just to play it as if I'm not really setting myself much of a restricted challenge. The only real restriction this playthrough will have is that I have to complete all tasks and all quests as a loyal Enclave soldier. I will lean heavily on Enclave weapons as I can get them, but when I don't have any available, I also won't mind using some wasteland weapons as well. Wandering around the vault is very similar to the other Vault 11, except it's got some cryopods that have not been, well, contaminated or messed with yet. Immediately we're given the option to either initiate the release or terminate the inhabitants. Obviously if I just terminated them now, that wouldn't be much of a video, so I released them all. What we have here is 4 people very similar to us. They were froze as the bombs fell and have just been woken up, pretty much an hour after I was. All we know is that they were from the US government and they were brought here as the bombs fell. They were protected by the military and now they're awake looking for our help. The way that I want my character's story to play out is as if I was supposed to be one of them, but I was actually taken off to the civilian bunker because I was already close by and my family was with me. I don't know the secrecy of their plots, but I am a veteran. I was a soldier at Anchorage where I got my title of Major. However, this is a new general that I haven't met before, General Ward. And for the time being I'm going to have to prove myself to both him and Captain Peterson. I quickly grabbed the Your Special book, and on my way to the first mission, I decided to stop by the Roblox disposal ground, as I received many comments about the Fat Man that I could have picked up here, and yes, I did indeed find it. I've also been able to find my first laser weapon, but not particularly much ammo for it. We arrive at the location of our first mission, Communications Array Car Tunnel. It's here we meet up with Captain Peterson. I do want to quickly take a moment to really appreciate the voice acting. It's a top tier job, just fantastic all around. I want to go for a bit more of a stealth build, so like, oh, did you guys even see the raider with the launcher? Right, well this time I'm going to take a good run and sprint here and make sure he can't get me this time, and I swear the first time I played this I could not figure out that it was a tripwire. I thought there was a really well hidden raider sitting in the back just hitting me with a missile launcher every time I walked through. What our goal is to set up a communications array. General Ward at the vault let us know that he was unable to communicate with any sort of military bases or high command. So we are travelling all the way to a military checkpoint. And let me just tell you now, this is all brand new areas. It's been taken over by a huge raider gang and we're sneaking in before the boss gets back. And like I said, this is all brand new. I don't have much in the way of ammo, so me and Captain Peterson have to get ready for this sentry bot. Even though I'm very underleveled, I believe I get very lucky, as the sentry bot gets himself trapped underground. However, what kind of American soldier would I be if I took the easy way out, eh? And as Teddy Roosevelt said, nothing in this world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, difficulty. I have never in my life envied a human being who led an easy life. I have envied a great many people who led difficult lives and led them well. So what I'm pretty much saying is, I'm going to reload the save and fight the sentry bot with my 11 bullets. Because damn it, I'm just so patriotic. And I'm no longer alive. This sentry bot is a clear indication that I have came here at a far lower level. The original America Rising mod, the first one, recommends being here around level 15. I came here straight at level 1. And one thing that really changes this challenge run from any other Fallout 4 one I've done is that I don't know this map. I don't know the ins and outs, I don't know all the little nooks and crannies, all the little special weapons or items I can pick up. I am going in all of this blind, I've never played this mod before. So I end up just start running away. Because even when entering buildings, the sentry bot will follow you. I do find some automatic combat rifles, and I find an entire new suit of power armor. It's only T45, but for the time being it will have to do. Luckily in this run there's no restrictions on any sort of power armor use, so in all honesty it's fair game for me. The power armor gives me the necessary bulk so I can get straight in the sentry bot's face. The combat rifle was nice as well, a little bit of extra ammo, but I'm still running pretty low, so I have to rely on a pipe pistol to finish it off. And all I can say is, Teddy, wherever you are, God, I just hope you're proud. Proud of America. With the sentry bot finally taken out, we can now enter the facility and set up the communications. The beginning of the mod introduced a lot of different and new features that I found really captivating as I was playing through. Even some things as simple as going to a computer and setting up the alignment is giving a unique twist. You have to get these lights in the correct order of power, by increasing and decreasing different sections. The only way you can figure out how to do this is by reading through the terminal. Which I like, it's something quite new, it's no longer just spamming A until you get through a mission, you've actually got to read through some of the terminals to figure out exactly what's going on. Once we establish a link to the Concord capital, there's a different option for defences. And this is where we are introduced to America Rising's first defence section. For some reason the first game that came to my mind was Gears of War. Gears of War have a feature where you can set up defences and protect a spot. And that's what we're doing here. We're able to set off protectrons, we're able to set off turrets, I'm able to set myself on fire. And the order in which you set up these defences can determine how far these raiders can get. Not too difficult, but I was a very welcome change of pace. Something else I loved is when I spoke to Captain Peterson at the end of the mission, he can spawn you straight back to the vault. I mean, I know it's an RPG, but when this happened, oh, I really appreciated it. We can see now though that General Ward has got his general outfit on, and we learn that he is a 5-star general, which is a big deal. We then get to speak to Dr. Kane. I tried to learn a little bit more about them, but they're really not budging. And Lieutenant Fitzpatrick has one of the most real and human dialogues I've ever had in a Fallout game. He misses his family, he misses everyone, he doesn't know what's going on. Similar to my character right now. I'm just trying to cook up some mole rat meat, and this rad roach has somehow trapped me into a continuous falling animation. In a fit of anger, I decide to go take out Wolfgang. It is one thing the Enclave won't stand for, it is raiders and bandits harassing these American citizens. Our next mission takes us to a vertibird refueling facility. Again, a brand new area, completely made just for this mod. Our aim down here is to gain control of the vertibird facility so we can start flying around and meet up with some old bases. Again, at this point, we're not even aware that we're part of the Enclave, we just believe that we're helping some old Americans from the old US government. Specifically the military, in which we are a veteran for, so without question we head straight here and take out all the gunners. Early in this mod I did have a lot of problems with these missions because the gunners here have pretty strong weapons. I mean, I'm able to pick up what they've got as I'm travelling through, but I'm not really packing much of a punch. I'm also still in a vault suit with just some extra leather armour added, so I have to play these missions very tactically and very stealthily. Luckily for me though, I'm able to pick up a hardened sniper rifle. Again, the level of these weapons are telling me that I am extremely underleveled. But hey, what am I going to do? Play the real Fallout 4 game? Why would you bother when you've got mods? God, I never used to play mods on this channel. Now I feel like all I do is play mods. It's a whole new world. A brand new point of view. I'm not sure if I got those words right, and I'm not checking. I'm leaving my copyright on that. No one can ever steal that singing. I head back and let General Ward know that I have liberated the Vertibird facility. Now this is where it gets spicy. But before we get to see that spicy news, we meet another new thing that the mod introduced. Having to wait a full day before starting the next quest. Now that's obviously to allow the characters to get into certain armor or get set up in a new location. But I think it's a pretty cool feature, it makes sense. We just got a bunch of vertibirds that need tested, so it would make sense they need a day to fix them. So I decided to spend my day wisely and go buy Old Faithful. I'm also able to pick up a plasma rifle without much ammo at all, and I transform Old Faithful into a sniper rifle. With that, we're able to head back to General Ward. Enough time has passed and we're able to take the Vertibird. Now it's here that I'll be honest, I got very excited. Because we are heading over to the oil rig. And genuinely, I thought we were heading to the Fallout 2 oil rig. We are not. We are heading to a different oil rig, but when I first saw it, I was like, we're gonna meet Frank Horrigan. But it is not. It's just a different oil rig with a whole different history. But it is covered in feral ghouls, so we've got to clear them all out before we can take it. It's clear at this point that this is an Enclave facility because all the skeletons have Enclave uniforms on. I mean, obviously I know what the mod is, so I knew we were part of the Enclave. But my character didn't know, he just still thought he was part of the US government. He doesn't even know what the E means. But as we are travelling around the oil rig, we run into a stranger. The stranger somehow recognises General Ward's name, and warns us about more hostiles and invites us up to have a conversation. We're going to fight our way to the war room by using some World War. It is the definition of fighting fire with fire. We find an armory filled with tons of very powerful energy weapons. We're able to pick up a couple different laser pistols, we're able to grab a Gauss rifle, a couple different plasma weapons as well, and our first indication of the Enclave gas mask. I mean, if it wasn't confirmed before, it's confirmed now. But let me pretend like I didn't know. Where's the Enclave? But they've returned? Again? Somehow, the Enclave have returned. The stranger is revealed to be Colonel Whitehill, an Enclave soldier who was stationed at the oil rig before it all fell apart. We learn that the test subject they were working on broke out, and we have the current task of resetting all the different reactors. Our objective is to get this oil rig back into working order. And the first thing we need is communication. But the first thing I need is some Enclave armor and some Enclave weapons. It's an interesting look.
Are we the baddies?
Despite acquiring a bunch of new laser weapons and plasma weapons, I'm still struggling a lot for, well, ammunition at this point. But I'm still able to make my way around the oil rig and set up all these communication terminals. With the third and final terminal finally found, we're able to head down deeper into the oil rig. This is where we'll find the reactor. Once we can get this up and running, we're able to get this facility back to manufacturing and making weapons for the soldiers. Very similar to the beryllium agitator, I gotta head into a reactor room full of radiation. But instead of taking something, I'm going to be adding in something instead. We're going to put in some agitators to the bottom half of the reactors and add the dampening coils to the top half. Again, a somewhat unique quest. Once that's finished, we've got another defend a position mission. I didn't mean that to rhyme, but it dimed. Ah crap, ruined it. And luckily this putrid glowing one gets himself stuck on the stairs. With all that, we can return back to General Ward, and he finally says it to our faces that he is part of the Enclave and that we are a very welcome member. Our first official quest as a member of the Enclave is to go get this big ship. We board the Brotherhood and make our way over to the SS Harper. It reminds me a lot of Fort Strong. You're swinging with the Brotherhood, but instead of a behemoth, we're taking out a Marlord Queen. And Lieutenant Fitzpatrick's reaction is very, very accurate. He just screams as you approach, like, what the hell is that thing? Because again, this is the first time he'll be seeing any of this. Let's not forget he went from the vault to the Brotherhood fueling station to the oil rig to this ship. And the Mirelocks for him are the first thing he has seen. But with that, we fight our way into the hull of the ship, and we are met with more Enclave soldiers. However, it is very clear by their voice that they're no longer human, they are ghouls. However, Sam makes a huge mistake. He lets us know that if he headed back to the Enclave with the rest of the people on the ship, that it would mean certain, well, unaliveness. So as a devout member of the Enclave myself, well, he's just sealed his own fate. If only he hadn't said that, I'd have probably just let them go, but Sam's big mouth. And luckily they actually don't have really any weapons. The entire time Sam was trying to punch me, and he seemed to have found a pipe revolver just at the end there. So for me it was just a case of making sure I don't run out of ammo before I take them out, because I didn't really feel like punching a guy in power armor to, well, unaliveness. But we pick up the fob from his corpse, and we set the navigation of the USS Harper back to the oil rig. With that, we gain a huge amount of supplies and able to get the oil rig back to a certainly good working condition. General Ward, however, is very disappointed with the situation of the Enclave, and he sees a valuable soldier like us as a great addition. With that, we get the unique laser rifle layer purifier. Not as good as Old Faithful, but it was a nice fob. With our communications up, we've been able to identify where some Enclave remnants are hiding. I also decided to go do a bunch of synth hunting down quests. Pretty much any stronghold that was crawling with synths, I went and took it out. Mainly because I was sick and tired of always running out of ammo. It's from here that we'll be using just Enclave set weapons. Colonel Whitehill meets us at the Brotherhood regional office, where we're going to clear up some more raiders and find ourselves an Enclave officer. This is Sparta, and this is Sparta's men, and this is the person we've been looking for. This Enclave officer lets us know that there's even more Enclave remnants hiding out in the Commonwealth, ever since the oil rig crashed down. We make our way over to this Fairfix family bunker, and when we head down, we're able to run into Chief Technician Myers. Now this guy's voice actor is hilarious. Extremely New Jersey, extremely comedic, just, I loved it. With that, we've got pretty much most of the main cast from this mod all in one room. We speak to Colonel Whitehill and she lets us know we've got to wait for the long range transmitter to be repaired. We also receive a very unique quest from General Ward. The update that Fallout 4 had very recently gave us a bunch of Enclave soldiers as well. When you play that, the Enclave soldiers are very hostile. But what this mod has done is overwritten that. Now even though we initiate the lockdown, the Enclave soldiers are all friendly. And instead what happens is that we meet up with the Colonel down here, and we give him some new orders. And he gives us some sort of supplies. We're able to end the lockdown. They even recorded unique dialogue for these soldiers as well. And even though we've gotten to the roof without any lockdown happening, when you come up here the vertebrate is still ready, waiting to attack us. It's nice that we're able to pacify them, but I do think it's quite funny that this entire base is pretty much trying to attack us, but it simply can't. For completing this, General Ward gives us a unique set of armor. The bowstring colonel uniform. Usually you pick these up by taking out all those soldiers, but because we didn't, the game gives us one anyway, which is a very nice touch, because a lot of people would have been disappointed if they weren't able to pick up that uniform. But the long range transmitter is finally complete, and General Ward is looking to see if he can find any other Enclave bases. He does, and we complete the quest The Remnants. With that, Senator Matthews is going to be on his way to meet us at the oil rig. It's here, however, that we can no longer complete any more quests for the Enclave. Now, I thought that it would bypass most of the main story, but there's still some certain quests you've got to do. I won't spend too much time on this, so I head straight over to Parachute Station and rescue Nick. I fight my way through all the triggermen who are only wearing suits, and decide to use my Gauss rifle to take out Skinny Malone. With that, we're able to escape the vault and speak to Nick at the top. We're able to also go speak to Ellie and start investigating Kellogg's house. Now again, at this point I haven't really mentioned anything to do with the main story, but I did say that with this we did get sent to that vault with our family, so the family is still part of the Enclave soldier storyline. However, there will be no child more important than America to this soldier. So we are simply investigating Fort Hagen out of curiosity to see what happened. It's also a great opportunity to pick up more ammo. Similar to Skinny Malone, we charge up the Gauss rifle and get a headshot. Now, surprise to nobody, but Kellogg is a little bit stronger than Skinny Malone. I know, I'm breaking it to you guys too. But after taking out Kellogg, the next Enclave quest finally triggers. We shake our fist like Old Man shouts at Cloud at the Brotherhood of Steel, and get to see our first unique loading screen for the mod. We return back to the oil rig, and now the factory for all the different equipment for the soldiers is finally being made. General Ward decides to only walk slowly from objective to objective, and that's one thing in this mod I'm a little bit, not annoyed, but there's a lot of meet General Ward here so we can walk to here with him, and he only walks slow. But with all that, we've got to go repair some damaged pipes and flick some circuit breakers. Not too much of a difficult quest. Not too difficult so far. We're also able to get our supplies back online and get our first set of XO1 power armor. Because why wouldn't you? It would be certainly rude not to. We're also able to find a bunch of nice weapons down here and be able to pick up myself a Gatling laser. And there are tons of fusion cores. We're also able to make special orders with this system here, which means if we buy requisition tickets, we can get ammo whenever we like. I like it, it's a cool feature. I didn't use it much, but if this was more of a casual playthrough that I was going to play for a much longer time, I could see myself coming back here quite a lot. It's here that we meet with Dr. Kane, and head back to the Commonwealth to complete some quests for the Enclave. The one that we're currently on is the most vital and important quest I've found in the whole mod. Probably more important than the endgame. We are here to find top secret information. So secret, it's even called the secret recipe. But before we head back to the oil rig, I suppose, with our valuable recipe, I suppose we should head over to the old military base. I'm sure there's something even less important and more boring down here than, God, a secret recipe. What we're here is to pick up the stuff that Dr. Kane wanted. Now the Enclave do what the Enclave does, and it's messing with FEV again. So we're here to find an old sample and a couple different things to help stabilize it. But, surprise surprise, it's crawling with raiders. I like to get some sniper practicing with Old Faithful. I'll be honest, it's a brilliant weapon, but there's just something about a sniper rifle that doesn't have that big pop. That I just feel like I'm not doing any damage, even though I'm one-shotting pretty much all enemies I'm hitting. The further we get in here though, we actually do encounter the Brotherhood of Steel for the first time. Now we're not enemies with the Brotherhood or anything, but we are now. I mean, they were just standing here, and they weren't fighting us. But I'm fighting them, so that's how the Enclave does its business. We find some key, and make our way deeper and deeper into the facility. We're able to find one of the first items we've been looking for, the automated analyzer. And for some reason, deeper into the base, there's gunners. So in terms of difficulty, it goes Raider, Brotherhood of Steel, Power Armor, Soldiers, and then Gunner. I don't know, I don't ask questions, I'm just a soldier. During all the commotion though, Captain Peterson turns up. He's bringing some extra support and some extra heavy soldiers as well. It's here where we find Dante's 4th level of hell, Super Mutants. Take a guess what you think the next level will be. If it goes Raider, Brotherhood of Steel, Gunner, Super Mutant, maybe the next one will be Rad Roaches or Ghouls. But there's actually tons of Super Mutants down here, which actually makes a lot of sense. This specific area is where the FEV sample is. So there's no surprise that we are fighting through an entire garrison of Super Mutants. And we also encounter Behemoth, But not just a legendary behemoth or an ancient behemoth, we run into an epic behemoth. He ends up knocking off a few bits of my power armor and even takes out one of the heavy soldiers. But our Gatling laser proves to be too strong and we're able to disintegrate him. I do some, shaky parkour with my big old suit of armor on and finally find the FAV2 sample. But even though I've got all the most important things that the Enclave could want, especially that recipe, I decide to do all the encampment quests just so I don't have to track back too many times. It's here that we can finally start upgrading our armor and put on some nice Enclave paint. This mercenary for some reason just gets very lippy. It's to a man in huge power armor, so he's the fool really. And we arrive at the eastern encampment. We pick up a pretty powerful plasma rifle, and we get something a little bit less important. Well, I don't really need to build any Enclave stuff for a settlement. The most important thing is the Enclave paint. And look at that. Slick. Look at me. On my way to the final encampment though, I decide to sneak snipe this legendary super mutant and get a one shot. I mean, I can't help it. The sound of Old Faithful just doesn't have that ping. So I feel like I'm not doing damage, but one-shotting a legendary super mutant is pretty damn strong. For anyone who doesn't know, the Old Faithful does double damage when your enemy is at full health. I should also mention that I'm using the Lair. That's another weapon added by the mod. It's like a laser rifle, but it shoots a yellow beam instead of red. I pick up the final field manual, and when I return to Sanctuary, I find some random set of power armor. Well, that's really strange. Let me get out of my power armor and check this out. I can't seem to be able to get out. Generally, at this point, I was a little bit worried. I was trapped in my power armor. I even tried moving the power armor station, but I could not get out, so I had to reload an old save. Luckily, however, when I reloaded it, I was able to jump straight back out. At this point, I got a little bit worried, so I decided for now, I'm going to leave the power armor behind. I'd really hate to get hours and hours into this playthrough and then find out that I have to reload an even older save because I can't get out of power armor. But finally, the recipe is in play. We're able to give it to Toby, who instantly becomes our best friend, and a unique companion for the mod. I don't normally use companions in modded runs or challenge runs, but he's got a rolling pin, so he's definitely coming along. But with that, we're able to hand in all our different items we got for Dr. That's gotta be Kane! And she gives us this enhanced stun baton. Our new mission is to kidnap people. And she wants a healthy, non-irradiated person, so I immediately head over to Vault 81. I made sure to give all my good fusion cores to Toby so I can give her 3 terrible ones. This doctor is extremely rude to Major Bottom, so I decide that she will be the victim for the stun baton. However, it's here that I realise that named NPCs cannot be that. So I have to grab this poor resident and send him off to the oil rig. Instead of fighting all of Vault 81, I decide just to run away, as in 3 days they'll hopefully be friendly with me again. Now, when I read this the first time, I thought it wanted 1 healthy human, 1 wastelander, and 1 extremely irradiated human. So I immediately headed over to the crater of Adam to get one of these guys, and I realise here that I can't grab any of them. Frustrated with all this, I decide just to go grab my wastelander now. It's here where I realise my mistake. They didn't want a completely irradiated human, they wanted a mutated creature. So my trip to the crater of Adam was a complete waste of time. On top of the already 16 hours this playthrough took, I was really happy to be wasting even more of it. So I have to head back to the glowing sea anyway and grab this rad scorpion. With my magical teleportation baton gone, I let Dr. Kane know that I was extremely happy kidnapping those people, and go speak to Captain Peterson, who has another quest for me. We're heading back to that first military base at the start of the game, and to be honest, oh no. Okay. Second time's a charm, I suppose, and oh god. Third time's a charm, and we're definitely not gonna have a... Right, 4th time. Yes! I'm gonna be honest, I thought the run was dead there. I really did. Our mission is hitting up this old military base that General Ward knew from before the war. It seems to almost be untouched by the war. Nice trees, nice flowers. However, it is crawling with synths. Now, there was an extremely important storyline happening right now with this character Vanessa, but I actually wasn't paying attention. It turns out that this Vanessa looks a lot like General Ward's daughter. She doesn't really recognize him, but she recognizes her. So I immediately try and take her out. But, just like my baton, she has the power of teleportation. General Ward lets us know a little bit about what's going on, that I did look like her daughter, but didn't act like her. With the rest of the soldiers being Institute Siths, it raises a lot of questions. Questions that we simply don't have the answer to. Like the question of why when I reload my Gatling laser, it doesn't take away a fusion core. Has anyone else ever had this glitch? Well, let's ask my favourite man, Toby.
Well, I was originally at a base in the Mojave Desert. Felt like a change of scenery, and now I'm here.
You can't be serious.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Fantastic. Sounds exactly like Joe Swanson. I love Toby. Toby was a great character, great companion. I want him in the main game. Toby love aside, I head over to General Ward's old house and we gotta break into this safe. Another unique type of mission here, we gotta enter a 4-digit code. And the only way to enter that 4-digit code is by finding all the clues around the house. Now we don't know who left these codes lying around. We don't know if it was the Simp Vanessa or the original daughter Vanessa. The only thing that I know is that I gotta get myself into that safe. With every note that you find, you get a key to a different drawer. My assumption at this point was that I eventually had to find a note that had the code on it. With 3 keys found, I'm finally able to head over to General Ward's desk. On this desk, we're able to find something I found very interesting. It doesn't just say the code, we've got to somewhat decipher it. Now granted, it's not exactly a hard decipher, there's only a couple of numbers on here, so it wasn't too hard to break this code. But again, I want to take a moment to applaud the modders. I found this really fascinating, very interesting, and a really unique addition. Again, the amount of hard work and time that must have went into this. Please, if you haven't played it, go download it, show your support to these guys, it's fantastic. Even though I've already took all the notes in there, General Ward decides to have a look anyway. He's perplexed, but we do learn a little bit more about his history. He was a general, he was recruited by the Enclave, and when he started to ignore his family. Even when he was given a spot in the vault, he's decided not to bring them because he couldn't. And during this emotional time, he takes a prisoner. And with that prisoner, we take them back to the oil rig to torture them. I'm even allowed to beat them up a little bit. I mean, God, this mod has everything. I'll ask the same question that David Mitchell asked earlier. Are we the baddies? Cause I'm not feeling particularly like a good guy right now. But whatever the general says, the general gets. And he sends me on a mission to assassinate his daughter. Right, before that, let's go speak to the quartermaster. God. She gives us a free weapon, and we get a bunch of new combat armor. They show us another unique feature to this mod, a shooting range, which I think is pretty cool. And we get to watch the introduction of Senator Matthews to the oil rig. I mean, that is a pretty cool way to introduce some new characters. Beautifully made, beautifully done. General Ward is extremely happy, with our numbers growing and the power of the Enclave growing as well, that we even get another promotion. But no time to celebrate, we gotta go speak to the Senator. And it's here where a few people start to raise a little bit of questions about him. Who is this guy? He says he was democratically voted in. By who? Where are they? They do ask where the headquarters is, but he does mention that they're a little bit more liquid, if that makes sense. I mean, it kind of does. Every Enclave base at this point has been blown up. It does make sense to not really set up a central headquarters. They keep getting destroyed. And with all that, we finally get our medical. God, how long has it been? We're also given our own unique vertibird. I decided to pick the one called Cherry Bomber, because I'm a cherry bomb. We speak to Colonel Whitehall, and we learn that she's got a little bit of aggression towards, well, Senator Matthews. But with that revelation, we are currently locked out of any more Enclave quests. We've now got to continue on the main story, and like I said, I won't waste too much time. I take out Finn, run myself through Kellogg's brain, watch Sean get teleported away with his cute little blonde hair, and run away from this Deathclaw into the rocky cave. Again, as a member of the Enclave, I don't think I'd ever accept help from a super mutant, but you cannot avoid it, you cannot take Virgil out, so I have to head over to Green Tech Genetics anyway and get the Courser chip. If you guys think that feels a run, fair enough. It's similar to the Knight Titus one or the Liberty Prime one, so yeah. It's, you know, it's like Loyal's detonator. But less of that. We have a courser that needs taking out. This is probably the most I've ever used the Gatling laser in any playthrough, and I am a big fan. I decide to execute all the traitors. This feels like the most Enclave thing I've done so far. And head straight over to Old North Church to get the courser chip analysed. Now at this point we don't know much about the railroad, but they offered to decode it for us. No reason to take them out yet, so we head back and speak to General Ward. We let him know that we've got the signal interceptor built, and he sent us back to Myers to go get it built. This is the Enclave way of building the signal interceptor. He tells us it's been written by a child, well, close enough, a super mutant, and luckily we were carrying enough scrap on us to be able to build it all without having to travel too far. It's kind of frustrating though, you have to travel all the way back here just to tell General Ward you did it, but we do get to see a little bit more of the dissension of Colonel Whitehill. She is not a fan of Senator Matthews, and she's becoming less of a fan of General Ward. However, Toby has been such a good boy, I promote him to Colonel. I don't care what General Ward said, I did it anyway. Before I headed back to the signal interceptor, I decided to explore some of the new unique quests. We get a toolkit to help repair some downed vertibirds out in the Commonwealth, and Quartermaster Barrett asks us to retrieve some Enclave iBots. Again, similar fetch quests to other factions, but I still thought it was pretty neat. But with all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed, I head back over to the signal interceptor to get teleported into the Institute. The mission is similar, I get a network scanner, but General Ward has given me the specific task of infiltrating the Institute and learning all that I can. Specifically about the heads of the divisions and how they're generating so much power. So I make my way to meet all the division heads, and I'm introduced to a very unique situation. This scientist isn't usually here, but for this mod, he puts down a dossier on this table. This is the way the mod gets around us finding this information. I give my pleasantries to Dr. Lee, and I'm able to steal the Institute Phase 3 dossier. After quickly meeting up with Justin Ayo, I've met all the division leaders, and again before I head back to that oil rig, I decide to help out with Lieutenant Fitzpatrick's quest. The down vertibird quests are pretty cool. There'll be a vertibird in a random area, being attacked by like raiders or gunners, and we've got to help fend them off. We meet up with the Enclave pilot and give him the toolkit. With this toolkit he's able to fix the vertibird. All in all, a pretty cool quest. I also decided to continue on the Vanessa quest line, where we've got to tune into the courser's signal and find out where she's been hiding. We find them in this fish packing plant, where at this point we are not an enemy of the Institute. In fact, we're quite a good friend of them. However, the quest is find Vanessa, and this courser says he is not letting us pass. So unfortunately, this courser has got to meet his end. And yes, I did miss with a 90% chance of hitting, and with that courser taken out, we've got to fight our way through more Fury Company troops. Vanessa, here we come. Fury Company, the more I think about it, is a really strange concept for this mod. They're supposed to be like a synth group, but to be honest, they're just kind of like reskinned gunners. That's the best way to describe Fury Company. Because they don't run around with Institute weapons, they don't run around with anything like that. They just have gunner weapons. They even wear gunner looking kind of clothes. In terms of a storyline and kind of an addition to the Institute's lore, it is quite cool what they're doing. Because from what we learned through this story, that's their objective, is to just blend in like another mercenary group. And it adds another layer to the Institute's kind of more evil goals, so to say. It's like another layer of secret police. This is kind of like their secret army. And the character of Vanessa is also very interesting. Vanessa's story, to put it simply, is that the Institute found out about General Ward, and they needed someone to have his biometric makeup. They found out about his daughter and made a perfect synth of her. I don't think they explain in it how they were able to make a perfect match of her. Maybe they found her body after the bombs fell. But less talking about the why of the story, we're now at the end of it. A somewhat ominous line, she tells us that we have ruined everything, and then she slumps over on her side. Right, this is too much emotion for me. I need a bit of an easy seg. Jesus Christ, what happened there? While I'm recovering the iBot for Quartermaster Barrett, I do want to discuss the Vanessa storyline. Now at first when they told us that we ruined everything, I thought that was going to come back later on. I'm not sure if the decisions that I made maybe affected Vanessa's storyline, but I'll tell you now, she never really comes back up other than General Ward saying it's good you took her out. So for anyone who's played this mod a little bit more than me, please let me know. Was there more to the story of Vanessa? I'd love to read it down below. As I'm relaying all this information back to General Ward, and he repeats what we just said. She was an abomination and it was a better choice just to take her out. Senator Matthews is just happy that the distraction's out of the way, so he's a really caring person. And for murdering his daughter, I get a new weapon. Thanks, I guess, yeah. With all this fantastic progress that we've been making for the Enclave, it's time to send a message. I've relayed all my information from the Institute, but now it's time to land the first punch on the Brotherhood of Steel. For anyone who may not be aware, in Fallout 3 the Enclave got pretty messed up by the Brotherhood, so it's only fitting that they're going to be our first target. I meet up with Captain Peterson, and we begin our assault on the North Boston Police Department. Every mission where we're attacking the Brotherhood is filled to the brim with Brotherhood soldiers. However, I have a Gatling laser that never seems to consume any ammunition, so it wasn't too much of a difficult challenge. With our first big message sent to the Commonwealth, it's time to meet up with General Ward. General Ward sends us on another mission over to Hallucinogen. In the normal Fallout 4 story, this is where you would come with McCafferty to pick up something for his sick daughter. But for us, we're looking for a distribution module. Something that will help us spread our FEV around the Commonwealth. If for anyone who may not be aware, the goal of the Enclave, as it always is to try and get FEV out into the wasteland. However, something pretty unexpected comes up. And I don't mean this random gunner conscript that decided to interrupt our huge fight. But damn, did you see Toby knock him out with a rolling pin? That is beautiful. Colonel Whitehill is extremely concerned about the FEV. We've seen it firsthand just what it can do. And Colonel Whitehill has a very realistic concern that humans exposed to large amounts of radiation, just like the Enclaves that had to escape the oil rig, will fall victim to the FEV's effects. She asks us to help take out General Ward and Senator Matthews. But how could you ever ask a person to betray their country? I pleaded, I begged with Colonel Whitehill, don't do this. Don't betray the Enclave, don't betray everything they've been working for. But unfortunately she was not willing to listen. And I am not willing to betray this beautiful nation. Colonel Whitehill unfortunately seals her own fate. If there's one thing that the Enclave does with any traitor or conspirator against this nation, is to put them out of their misery. And with this unfortunate sequence of events, we have to report back to General Ward. He immediately takes our side and believes every single word of it. We let him know how it ended for her, and honestly, he couldn't have been happier. I don't know about you guys, but me and General Ward might be like best friends. I did invite him over to my house for a slumber party, and he said he'd think about it. Only if I'd bring him the beryllium agitator. So in terms of the main quest, we're no longer leaving the Enclave to finish off certain sections. They have now fully intersected with each other. We're heading off to mass fusion as part of the Enclave. We won't have any synth backup or Brotherhood backup. In fact, we'll be fighting both of them on top of the building. I'm pretty sure there's no faction in the game that allows this sort of scenario to happen. I don't think the Minutemen do, I don't think the Railroad does either. I don't think you even come to mass fusion when you side with them. And when you side with the Brotherhood or the Institute, you're only ever fighting the other one. So siding with the Enclave gets you fighting both. But on that note, ever since I went to the Railroad to get that Courser chip encrypted, I haven't heard a peep out of them. And I don't even think I ran into Preston Garvey in this playthrough. We start making our way down. Toby, no! God damn it, man, stop this elevator! And enter the main foyer for the mass fusion building. We prepare for the FEV by getting all the rads out of us as we can, and immediately put ourselves as a huge target by taking as much radiation as we possibly could. But we have acquired the beryllium agitator. After that, it's a pretty normal part of the mission. We've got to fight our way past the sentry bot and 2 assaultrons. And although this is usually a pretty difficult part of the mission, I am pretty high level at this point due to all the different quests for the Enclave. Even without power armor, there's not much damage these guys can do to me. I mean, other than break my arm. I let them shoot their full load and pop out quickly just to finish them off. But we can't forget the hard work that Toby's been putting in. I mean, he rolls up And that's not a pun, he does roll up with his rolling pin. And my god, I'm telling you, he might be my favourite companion in Fallout 4. I mean, he sounds exactly like Joe Swanson. Or better putting it, he sounds exactly like Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove. It's just like these modders know exactly what people want. What kind of companion do you want? I want Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. Does everyone agree? Everyone does agree. We give over the Beryllium Agitator to the Enclave, and we get our reactor working. Now earlier on, Colonel Whitehill was warning us about the FEV, and in previous games we've seen its full effect. I gotta be honest, watching this section here was pretty, I don't know how to say, kind of disheartening in terms of the playthrough. I mean, despite Dr. Kane getting stuck in a walking animation, it is a horrible thing that she has built. We use our own Enclave soldier to test it, and what it does is completely destroy everyone's lungs. However, no time to think about any sort of regrets or bad decisions we may have made. We gotta go fight the Brotherhood at the army depot. Now here, I started to notice that I was getting lit up. So I had to go against my better judgment and put back on another set of power armor. God, I just hope that I don't get randomly stuck in this again. However, at this point it was very much needed. I was unable to land here without being, taken out. Plus, when you leave the vertibird, you jump from pretty high up, so I feel like at this point they're like expecting you to be wearing power armor at all times. So, I'll just spoil it now, I don't take the power armor back off until the end of the game. After fighting off the Brotherhood, General Ward comes to meet with me. Pretty much a recurring theme of this mod. Do something, General Ward meets you there, has a chat, go do something else, go meet General Ward at oil rig, have another chat. And at the end of this chat, he's letting us know that we're going to be the tip of the spear to wipe out the Brotherhood. Or should I say, stop them from wiping us out. In this mod, the Brotherhood have somehow got themselves a massive, warhead? Missile? And they have somehow got it operational to the point where they have aimed it at the oil rig. So we have to hit up Site Gamma, another brand new location, take down all their anti-air defense so we can bring the vertibirds in, and stop them from blowing up the oil rig. Again, very cool. And I'm sure as you saw earlier, Knight Reese is here. So this is kind of like the end game for the Brotherhood. All the named characters are going to be here defending their mission. And god, they are defending it. It looks like a crazy rave trying to take out this site. And unfortunately, we are faced with just a downright good man. Sorry, Paladin Dans, this is Brickmaker talking, not the Enclave guy talking. If it was the Enclave soldier talking, he would talk like this, and he would say, "You goddamn traitor to this country, you deserve nothing but a coward's death." Oh, I'm sure all the people that watched the Fallout New Vegas Enclave video were just waiting for that impression to come back. My name is Major Bottom, my cousin is Colonel Adam, and Brotherhood of Steel, I am here to take... Oh damn. Elder Maxon is now up here, and he has got a full set of fully upgraded Brotherhood of Steel armor. And he is using his Gatling laser, so... It was a pretty difficult fight. I didn't show all the times that I failed, but there was a good 4 or 5. The last line of defense is Proctor Ingram, and with all the named characters taken out, we can abort the launch. Surprise, surprise, once I finish the quest, General Ward spawns in to have a chat with me. And you can see here just how difficult that fight was. I have lost all the parts of my power armor except for the torso. General Ward lets us know that we can redirect the missile, and we can get a front seat view to watch the Pridwin fall. Oh, I do love the Brotherhood in Fallout 4, but my god, they do have the coolest way of ending. That is beautiful. God bless America. God bless the Enclave. Lieutenant Fitzpatrick must have loved the Brotherhood because he is literally frozen in place due to the shocking nature of that. And I finally get promoted to Major, the title of my character. I finally get the correct rank. With the Brotherhood wiped out, something very interesting and unexpected happens. Instead of immediately going to fight the Institute, someone from the Institute comes to try and negotiate terms. And by negotiate terms, he tries to betray the Institute. However, me and General Ward are completely in agreement. If he's so easy to turn on the people he's currently supporting, why wouldn't he just betray us when we become inconvenient? Furthermore, this is probably a trick to get more Institute soldiers into the Enclave to destroy us from within, and replace us with synths. So this is both General Ward, Major Bottom and the Brickmaker all in agreement to tell Dr. Armstrong to go to hell. As soon as he leaves, he sets off an entire synth platoon to come and attack us, more or less sealing their own fate. Before we can attack the Institute though, we need to make a plan. So it's back to the war room. All the named characters are here, except this time I'm now sitting on this desk. I'm feeling like a pretty cool guy right now. With the plan set, we've got to go back to our quarters and get some rest. It's going to be a big fight tomorrow. However, we are rudely awakened by some sirens. It turns out the Institute has been able to figure out a way to get themselves onto the oil rig. As soon as we had figured out the relay system, we had immediately set up transmitters and different blockers so the Sims couldn't get here. However, someone's been able to turn them off without us knowing. Our first goal is to find General Ward and protect him. The Sims pretty much spawn all over you and even on top of you, but luckily General Ward is okay. I get a little bit too eager and want to attack the Institute now, but at first we've got to stop the Sims from getting on the oil rig. However, in the midst of all this fighting, I do take a moment to watch boxes in their mating ritual, in their natural habitat. Beautiful. And make my way around the oil rig so I can put more fuses back in the transmitters. This mod actually introduced having different miscellaneous items have to be used for quests, but luckily we're given the fuses by Myers, thank God, because I don't know where I would have found them. With the 3 teleporter jammers fixed, the only thing left to do is to wipe out the remaining synths on the oil rig. Right now I want to give this mod huge praise, because when discussing our plan to attack the Institute, they introduced this map. How cool is that? That's slick. Like, I love how modders can just improve and introduce brand new ideas to an already great game. The plan is set. General Ward puts us onto our vertibird and our plan is to invade the Institute. Myers and Barrett's got some satchel charges, so all we've got to do is clear out the Sims so they can set them off. We admire our handiwork from earlier with the Pridwin and make our way to assaulting the Sims. There's a lot of quests like this for the Enclave. Sit in vertibird, rain down hell and then jump out. They're fun, they're good, you do one of them for the Brotherhood of Steel as well, but I will be honest, they were a little bit repetitive at this point. All I wanted to do was to try and jump up the vertibird as quick as possible because, I mean, I've got an unlimited Gatling laser. I really don't need the minigun. Again, the height that I jumped down, I'm pretty sure I needed power armor, so I'm glad I brought it. And we start wiping out the Sims with our plasma sniper rifle. This X9 is a great weapon. This is the one we got rewarded by General Ward with. I use this time to take in the view and protect Barrett and Myers from setting the charges. Right everyone, clear the area, get out the way, we don't want to get caught up in that, right? Did anyone see Toby? 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 Joe? Kronk? You really... Oh my god, Toby. Jesus Christ, guys, don't just run past him, check that he's okay. My god. You are made of tougher stuff, Toby. I'm just glad you're okay. I don't know what I would have done if I'd somehow lost you there. We've entered the Institute and it's the same as the Brotherhood of Steel quest. Fight our way through all the different Sims, destroy all the different turrets, make sure we take out any scientists as well, because what would be the point if we don't at least break a few war crimes? And most importantly, make sure we take out the guerrillas, because if we're going to be, you know, committing war crimes, we might as well. Everyone's equal, the animals can get it too. We take out the remaining Sims and the remaining coursers, and start making our way to go see father-son. I did think, what would I say in this moment? And I do believe the Enclave soldier would have a bit of affection for his son. However, the message has never changed. This is for the good of America, the good of the Enclave, and the good of the people. Father doesn't buy it for a single second. Sorry, old yeller. We make sure not to initiate the evacuation order, because all members of the Institute are enemies of the state and deserve to be buried in this rubble. I'm disappointed that I can't find Dr. Lee down here, because she is one of the main reasons the Enclave and Fallout 3 got destroyed. And we arrive at the final battle. With the armor and the gear that I've got, this is not a case of can I win, it's just more of a case of how long will it take. And my only real concern at this point is running out of ammo, because I don't want to waste time reloading. I'm very disappointed as I pick up a 2-shot Institute pistol. That weapon would be sick. But no time to cry, I gotta activate the pulse charge and make our way back to the start of the Institute. I think I somehow offended, well, someone, because instead of teleporting back, I somehow teleported to goddamn heaven. So I have to reload an old save and reset the pulse charge. I'm probably one of the only people that is praying not to end up in heaven this time. And luckily my eyes open and, well, I still am in heaven. Hey, Captain Peterson. My robot son tries to convince me to come back with me. Myers for some reason gets really goddamn arsey about it, but I let him know he's a synth and he immediately takes my side. Major Bottom is literally perfect in the eyes of the Enclave. I can do no wrong. And for the first time ever, General Ward says he doesn't have time to talk. Well, isn't that just a change of pace? The end of a quest, he doesn't... Oh, there he is. Now he's talking to me. You know, General, I really feel like over this entire campaign, this entire episode we've been through, this, all the ups and downs, all the things with our children, I really feel like we've gotten close. So close, in fact, he allows me to press the button. With the 3 switches clicked, the 2 red buttons, and the big one pressed, we can watch as the Institute blows up. This does indeed answer the question, can you beat Fallout 4 as the Enclave? We can because of this mod, America Rising 2. A fantastic, a brilliant mod. I'd recommend anyone who's able to get it to play it. Other than the 2 or 3 mandatory quests you have to do, it is a completely brand new game. It offers so many characters, the voice acting is very good. The storyline's written well. I'm very happy. Introduced so many new things. Wait, we're not done? I've got to talk to General Ward again? Why can't I just speak to Toby? God, right, General, what do you want? He's telling me that I have to come back to the oil rig so I can watch him perform his talking. I hope whoever they got to voice act General Ward got paid millions. Because this guy has put the work in. He even has this huge fancy speech. Even after the credits, they brought him back for a long speech. It's a long speech. With his speech done, I do believe the game is done. Nope, there's one more thing I gotta do. Due to the decisions that I made in this game, the FEV has been fully manufactured and ready to be distributed. With that, I'm able to release the FEV off into the Commonwealth. General Ward wants to talk to me one more time, but this time it's very positive as he is going to give me another promotion. I went from random vault dweller to Colonel. I am now the same rank as my cousin Colonel Autumn. We can now be Colonel, Autumn and Bottom all together. The Autumn Bottom boys. The Butt boys. Wait, maybe not that last one. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. This was brilliant to play. I loved playing this. This was so much fun. Again, I cannot recommend it any higher. Go play America Rising 2. Give your support to the mod creators. Do whatever you guys can do to support this. It's mods like this that keep games that we love like this alive. So please, all thanks and all praise should go to those guys. This was unbelievable. I was blown away by this. If you got this far in the video, please leave a comment down below. Use the word Toby. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I usually upload a weekly challenge, but this one took a lot longer than anticipated. As I said previously, the normal campaign for Fallout 4 is 8 to 9 hours. This took about 16. So hopefully I have a brand new video out next week. I'll also be going on holiday at the end of this week, so I've been working pretty hard to get this one finished. If I don't get a new video out next week, I'll put up a community post to let you guys know ahead of time. But with that, I've been the Brickmaker, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.